Hey y'all. So Liz here with Smart Business Moves. How weird is this? Are you all wondering why I'm here by myself? Guess what? Me too. So Tom is absent today. He had a previous engagement that he had to get to. And then our guest, I think something has happened with our guest. We were going to have Shawn Day on today. Hopefully, he will pop in here in just a little bit and help us because we are supposed to be talking about never being short staffed again in 2023. And one of the things that we love about Shawn is that he is so good at sharing ideas, tips, tricks, etc., that are real world useful. All right. Hey, Denise. All right. Doesn't it seem weird to come to Smart Business Moves and I'm the only one here? Seems weird to me. All right. So until Shawn gets here, or unless he doesn't get here, I guess we will still talk about not being short staffed in 2023. I'm going to hit it from a couple of different angles since Shawn's not here. Shawn would normally talk about recruiting and bringing in new people and how to go about doing that in the most effective way possible. Similar to Libby with Root Recruit, or what's the other one that is very popular right now? Can you think of the other one, Denise, that a lot of people use for recruiting? With Juan Piper, maybe? I think it is Piper. All right. Well, anyway, there are a few different ones. Today we're going to talk with Shawn. Since he's not here, I'm going to talk about the other side of remaining fully staffed and not being short staffed. I think we focus a lot on our industry, a lot of service industries. Yeah, Piper. Thanks, Denise. On bringing people in and making sure that we have that steady flow. I'm all for that. I vote yes. Don't anybody stop doing that. But I also want to say, and we need to make sure that we are keeping people on the back end, right? Not letting people go out the back door as quickly as we're bringing them in. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but for most of us, the hiring, not most of us, for a good chunk of people that I know that I work with, the hiring crisis that we were in is better. We're not in as much of a crisis as we were. There was a hard time hiring anybody and a hard time keeping anybody there for a while. Just people were churning as quickly as you could get them in. Things seem to have stabilized pretty much, but we still gotta stay on top of that. Otherwise, we're going to end up in the same exact boat that we were in before, where we can't bring them in quickly enough, and we're losing them just as fast on the backside. So, curious, what are some things that y'all do some tricks, tips? Anybody on here does anything either on the front end or on the back end that you know works really well, that you have maybe switched over to, or maybe switched to and then decided, oh, that didn't work and you had to switch away from it? Anything like that with anyone? One of the things that I know a lot of people are doing that they're having success with is they are doing, instead of doing all in-home interviews or in-office interviews, they're doing a lot more Zoom interviews. That seems to be effective for a lot of people, and at least to help weed some people out. Another thing I know that people are doing right now that is kind of hot is on Indeed, how you can ask them to do a video recording and then send it to you. And then you get that and you can look at it beforehand. You decide if you even want to move forward with this person. Well, I really do like this. I also struggle a little bit with this because many people don't show up well on camera, and they get a little tongue-tied and a little uncomfortable, and so they don't show as well on camera as they might in person. That's one little kind of a glitch, one little problem. Oh, looks like somebody's trying to get hold of me. Is this Shawn? It sure is. Hold on, let's see what Shawn has to say. Traveling, Wi-Fi issues. He's going to be on here in a minute. All right, well, that's great. Let me get back to StreamYard. Get back. Oh, so I can see y'all again. Another problem with that is that sometimes we can be tricked visually. Right? There's a lot of evidence out there that if you see someone that is very attractive, you will give them positive traits subconsciously without even recognizing that you're doing it. And if they're very attractive, very good looking, it's easy for your subconscious mind to think, oh my gosh, they're a great match. They're going to be amazing for us. So that's something that you kind of have to work against. And that natural bias, even if you're thinking about it, your subconscious mind will still argue with you. Hey, Linda, your subconscious mind will say, yeah, but in this case, I know they're attractive. I know there's a bias, but I can tell with this person, they really are a good fit. So having that natural bias is kind of works against us a little bit. So Linda, are you wondering why I'm here all by myself too? Did you just come on? Shawn is having some Wi-Fi issues and he's struggling. Any of y'all want to join me on here and come on and be with me on Smart Business Moves instead of just me talking for an hour? Yep, I just sent Denise a message. You want to come on? Is that what you're saying yep to? I know you don't tend to usually love being on camera, but happy to bring you on here. I'm happy to send you a little link if you want to join me. All right. So we're talking about just some little tips and tricks. Wondering why you're alone. So Tom scheduled to be off today. He had something else, a previous engagement. Well, actually, it's kind of like an engagement. It's his anniversary. And he and his wife, Janice, are spending some time together. Isn't that sweet? Especially after all these years. And then Shawn is having some tech issues. He's traveling and he's having Wi-Fi issues. So he's still trying to get on here. We just don't know if he's going to make it or not. Anyway, we were talking about one of the things that we were talking about is the video interview, where on Indeed, you can ask them to send you a video. Another thing about doing those videos is depending on how you pay with Indeed, if you're paying per lead, once you request a video from them, you're on the hook for that money, depending on however much it is where you are. I've heard prices as little as $12 per lead. And then up in Colorado, it's a new way of saying Colorado. Up in Colorado, I know somebody that's paying over $70 per lead. So that can get pricey just to see a little video. Also, I don't know if y'all have seen this yet, but you can ask for a video. And usually you ask for a video for them to tell you certain things. And if they have the option to say, hey, my video is not working, or I can't do that, and instead answer your questions manually, typewritten answers. And my experience has been I get more of those than the videos, which kind of defeats the purpose because I can get those written answers any old way. It's Shawn. He's coming. Here he comes. It's Shawn. Hey, Shawn. Hey, good to see you.
I'm in St. Louis right now, and I'm from Cleveland, so I don't usually come here. And I have to come on the third story inside of a particular bedroom, not the one across over here, but this one. I finally found it, and I'm so sorry I'm tardy.
No worries, Shawn. But I promise you that our audience is going to be thrilled that you're here because
Thank
it
you.
is not fun to listen to Liz just babble on incessantly. I'm already sick of myself, and it's only been 9 minutes. So I'm so glad you're here. Tell us what you're doing in St. Louis, Shawn. Anything fun?
It's crazy. Last week we were in Phoenix and we did ResponsiCon, so we were presenting there and boothing there and doing some vendoring and seeing a bunch of good friends. And now I don't know how we got hooked up with this one, but we're in something called Trans World, and there's 15,000 people that are going to attend this convention on Halloween stuff. And so we just set up the booth a few hours ago, and literally it feels like we're walking through a Freddy Krueger haunted house thing.
Oh
There
my
are
gosh,
like
that sounds so fun.
it is. Oh, I will post all kinds of pictures and stuff on Facebook, but it is just setting the booth up. Looking around was just absolutely amazing, and there's a lot of. I mean, this is like a big deal because there's a lot of people that are like movie production
Oh,
caliber, like Avatar type of uh,
wow.
costumes and just mechanical goofy monsters. And here we are. We're usually a pretty excitable group, for bookkeeping guys and
Yeah.
recruiting guys. And here we are, just like we look like just regular Joes now, and we're the ones that everybody's going. They're boring. We're not used to that.
Oh, wow. That actually sounds really fun.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're excited.
I never really thought about it, but I guess every industry has to be recruiting, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and they've got there's a lot of people. I guess we'll find out a lot more because this is the first time we're doing this. But I think we're actually somehow we're hosting a networking group tonight, the tables and that type of thing.
yeah.
And so there's a lot of people here that have like corn mazes that aren't like the corn mazes I'm used to, where you're in and out in 3 minutes. You don't lose your child or anything. These are like taking 3 hours on 100 acres to get through. And then there's that, like they'll put a haunted house on their property that like Walt Disney World would have. It's
Wow.
just crazy. Yeah. So it's really exciting. So you might need 50 employees or 100 employees, and we do a lot of recruiting and hiring for like the Christmas light hanging, industry that we're a part of. And so this is just, I guess we'll be doing Easter next year, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder what you're going to be doing. All of the different holidays. Kind of fun though,
Yeah,
right?
it's a
Who would
blast. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a corn maze right down about a mile from my
Yeah.
house. It's a big one with a big haunted house too, and we sleep with our windows open. It is very, very loud over here around Halloween, that
I'm
whole month of
sure.
October. Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure.
it's big. Our maze usually takes at least an hour to get through.
They might be here. I mean, you never know. They might be
Yeah,
down here somewhere.
I wonder. Isn't that crazy? I
Yeah.
love this, though. I never
And
would have thought of that.
it's probably I know it's the largest convention as far as attendees. Usually there's a couple hundred to 1,200, 1,500 on average. So, I mean, like, so we're also presenting. I don't know if we're presenting in front of 50 people or 5,000 people. So, I have no
Oh
idea.
my
I don't
gosh.
know. So it'll be
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I got to tell you, when you said it was Trans World, I was not thinking Halloween.
As soon as I heard it and Dan brought that to my attention, I said, dude, I think where our core values are mixed up somewhere or something. I mean, I'll do it. I don't care.
I'm
We'll
thinking it sounded like a lot more fun with the other one, like a lot more exciting with my first thought. I was like, ooh, I don't know, but I don't know. Halloween sounds fun too. All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
tell us what do you got here? What are we going to talk about today? House cleaning industry or any cleaning industry, I guess. What are the big things that we need to be focusing on? Because I'm guessing that recruiting is the same across the country. Everybody's, got some recruiting needs, but there's got to be some differences between the different industries, different things that work, don't work. Is that true, Shawn, or is it just all the same?
I think it's not so much because the industries that we serve are primarily sort of the blue collar industries.
Okay.
So I think that like a technician is a technician. We all pretty much want the same thing from a technician that's going to go clean something, or repair something or install something or something like that.
Scare somebody.
Yeah, or go, I guess, yeah, scare somebody or put a corn maze up.
Yeah.
You know, and I think those people are the same. I think what's different is geography. We're in different labor
Okay.
markets, and I think that'll always be true. You
Yeah.
know, an example I always give is we've got a cleaning company we own in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I've been recruiting there now for almost 10 years. It was before I never mentioned the words boosting and sponsoring because you didn't have to back then.
Yeah.
It was just, the problem then was I've got 700 applications that came in overnight. How do I get through them all and find the good
Yeah.
people, right?
Yeah.
So many different labor market, but it was still very difficult to recruit in Minneapolis. We owned and partnered up with Derek's in just north of Cincinnati,
Yeah.
Westchester, Ohio area. Completely different labor market there. So it actually cost us 3 times the investment in just boosting and sponsoring ads to find one good technician in Minneapolis compared to northern Cincinnati. Ohio. Same company, same job position, same pay, same healthcare benefits. Everything's
Everything was
identical with the labor market.
okay. So the thing that I love about that is it gives people a thing to kind of focus on. Okay. Might just be a bad labor market right now, but that doesn't stay that way forever, right? I
Right.
mean, some are harder than others and for a longer period of time. But for the most part, I'm guessing that they shift, right? They all
Yeah.
shift.
Yeah, for sure. There's 2 things with that, Liz, that come to mind. One is it is what it is. So if your labor market is tough, then it's tough for everybody there. So it is what
Right.
it is. You just need to have, so that fundamentally doesn't change, right? If you have an easy labor market, you still need to have,
Yeah.
good culture, good leadership, and things like that. So you have to fundamentally still have a good business and good
Okay.
culture and good fundamentals. But one of the things that is really different than what it used to be, maybe even 8 years ago or so, is when we talk about the marketing end of our business in house cleaning or any of the cleaning industries, it's mainly our marketing is versus the window cleaner or house cleaning company down the road. But recruiting, we're recruiting against Amazon warehouse,
Uh, yeah.
manufacturers,
Yeah.
restaurants, all these. So the competition is just massive compared to marketing, right?
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
and so it's a matter of you've got to have a great job title, job description, the keywords, and all those. Again, all fundamental things. You would want that in any labor market, right?
Okay.
I think the difference mainly is: are you willing to invest the money you need to in boosting and sponsoring and getting some creative things going? And that could be boots on the ground stuff, right?
Okay.
Whatever it is, we just have to spend more in tougher labor markets to find employees compared to easier labor markets. So there's a couple things with that, and
Okay.
yeah, I mean, if a couple cleaning companies open up their door down the road, it's going to be a different labor market. If
Right.
some go away and sell or close down, it's maybe an easier labor market. That changes all the time. Yeah, it's fluid. I think one of the things we do, and I never used to do this, but I think it's very fundamental. And if you think about it, entrepreneurs and business owners love to talk about the revenue. How much revenue? How many clients do you have?
Oh,
How
yeah.
many? Well, yeah, it's not how much did you spend in finding an employee. There's nothing sexy and juicy about that. The
Yeah.
marketing
No.
is juicy and sexy, right?
Yeah.
So I've been doing everything I can in the last 3 years, and I think it's really, and Libby and Paul do it, and Chris, and it's really cool because it's starting to become. You might need some recruiting help out there, just like you need marketing help, right?
Yeah.
And we're trying to change that mindset where why is it so easy to spend 3 or 5 grand a month? Or $1,000 a month on marketing, but it's like pulling teeth to spend $300 and some ads to go find 2 employees.
Yeah.
We're hopefully changing that mindset. I see that it is changing.
So I feel like we've been talking about this quite a bit, but you're still seeing that people don't want to spend the money. That's what I'm hearing.
There's 2 things I know for sure. and
Okay.
that is those business owners that I still hear complaining about the labor market. It's tough, employees stink, and all that stuff. Without exception, almost are the ones that are not executing on their hiring needs. The ones that are saying, "Dude, what do we got to do to figure this out? And how much will it cost? Let's do it." Those people are almost to the T executing on their hiring needs. It's
Okay.
really that simple. It really truly is. If it, in the mindset, if your mindset is still just complaining and whining about it, and I don't think everybody is, and I know it's not easy, but that we've been trying really hard to change people's mindset. It is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the reality. It's called acceptance. We accept what is reality, and then we try to figure out how to attack it and how to execute on
Okay.
things. And again,
Yeah.
everybody in your neighborhood's going through the same thing that owns a business. So how
Yeah.
do we solve these problems?
Okay, so like that is something that is I do know that that does shift and change
Yep.
because once something once one group of people starts doing it, everybody starts doing it, and now you're back in the same boat again. So you
Yeah.
have to be constantly shifting it up. What's kind of new and fresh right now? What should we be doing or
I
like
think
looking
that for us and a lot of our clients, there's a lot of we've got some artificial intelligence that's come out. So when we put together a job title, job description in our system, it'll automatically scrape into a database that starts to identify and pull people out of that database that match that skill set, that are in that geographic area, and then we can start to market to them. So so one of the things that I am, and this is maybe a longer term thing, but we started planting the seeds about a year ago with this. I'd like to get it to a point where, and we're doing this already with clients of ours that we're recruiting for in our own businesses, our own cleaning businesses. We are spending less and less now. We're turning a corner on Indeed and on Facebook and on Craigslist and whatever else is out there because we've built up such a large database of candidates, just like marketing and prospective clients. And we're continuing every 3 months or so to tap them with an email and a text that says, "Hey, how's that job going? Hey, are you still?" And one of these days, and it's proven to be true. We're proving this right now.
Yeah.
We are now getting applications and interviews and new hires from people in the databases that we're recruiting for.
Okay.
And so my goal, and to God's ear, is that maybe one day we don't have to use Indeed anymore and play their nonsense games and have a database just like marketing.
Yeah.
We do that in marketing all the time, right? If even, and I say this, if somebody came to interview and they
Uh-huh.
took another job, we don't say they're not a bad person necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay, they just took another job. Maybe that job was better than your job. Maybe the timing was off. Maybe
Yeah.
you just started to recruit and they've already had 2 interviews, and then saw your job. So we continue to market to them. We don't even use the word recruiting very often anymore. We use marketing and our CRM. We call it a candidate relationship
Ah,
management.
okay. Okay.
I don't care what it is. You take the word sales or marketing and I'll replace it with the word recruiting and I'll do the identical thing. I just am attracting a different person. One's called a prospective client or a client on the marketing end. Ours is called either a job candidate or an employee.
Okay.
Put a yard sign up for marketing. That's what it's traditionally for. Why
Yeah.
can't you put one side marketing and one side for recruiting, for the employee side of that, right?
Yeah. You see both of those yard signs up. That's for darn sure. So, okay. So one thing that
Artificial intelligence. That's the one thing, though, to short answer to your question.
and so artificial intelligence, well, I was going to go down another path altogether, but let's
Sure.
go to AI here. Um, so like let's say the everyday Joe wants to be hiring somebody. How would the everyday Joe use AI? Like what would they
Well,
be?
and I've kind of conflated a few things. The artificial intelligence automatically will pull that in. You can do some of that on your own, though, and not really.
We'll pull what in? Like break it down for me like I'm
like the database. So if I'm typing in a job title and I start the job description in our CRM, our CRM also has a database of almost 800 and some million people that it will automatically, and ZipRecruiter's like this a little bit. It has that artificial intelligence or sort of that. It'll start to pull people with the skill set you're looking for and automatically sending them information saying, hey, this job might be for you.
Yeah.
Now, there's some what I would call strategic things you can do that aren't like automated or automatically doing that artificial intelligence. So it's not as artificial, but it's certainly intelligent. And I give you some strategic things like I know that if we've done this in the database, and you can do this on LinkedIn. You can
Okay, so hold on. When you keep talking about the database,
yeah,
are you talking about?
We subscribe to a database.
Say what?
We subscribe to a database that has 800 million names in it.
And so that's the first thing they need to do is instead of just relying on Indeed, subscribe to a database first.
Now, yes and no. One is the database is about $15,000 a year, so it's probably not for everybody.
Yeah.
But you can do a lot of things with LinkedIn, and I know that's typically a white collar maybe type of platform. It is more and more and more and more becoming blue collar, and there's a lot of technicians that are on there now. So you can do some pretty cheap automated stuff with that. You can do some things if you go to YouTube and search for the word Boolean, BOOLEAN. It's a mathematical thing, but you can find a lot of cool things just by Googling some certain things with Boolean searches, and that's free, but it's time consuming.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing right now is either Indeed. I'm hearing three options. There's three options. Hit Indeed, spend all your time, energy, resources doing these things like LinkedIn, going to YouTube, or hire somebody like you that is going to do all these, has a database, etc. Right? I'm hearing those three options. Are any of the other things working? Like, is ZipRecruiter working?
Actually, ZipRecruiter's gotten much better. And it's a geographic thing too. Okay. So like Craigslist works wonderful in some parts of the country, and it's just a stink pot in others.
Yeah.
ZipRecruiter, since they went public about a year ago or so, and they've collaborated and have partnered with Google on some things, they've become much, much better job board to consider. I would do a lot of different testing there. And you can post free there, just like on Indeed. And we're getting a lot of application flow, a lot of free application flow from some clients around the country. And that is our sole thing that we're doing is ZipRecruiter, and that's it for a few of our clients, believe it or not. Yeah, that wasn't the case a couple years ago at all.
No, not at all. Yeah. Most everybody that I talked to, I guess I haven't even talked about it in the last 3 years because everybody was like, why waste your time? You're not going to get anything of value from Zip.
Yeah, I would try it for the free stuff because it's free and easy.
Yeah. And see if it works in your area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But to your point, Liz, things change, right? Like you said, the labor market changes, technology changes, things change all the time.
Absolutely. All right. So did I also hear you suggest that wherever you're going, if you're going to ZipRecruiter, if you're going to Indeed, etc., when you are contacting people, begin creating a database, even if you don't have anybody in it right now, start today.
Yep.
And start collecting those emails. And when you need a job next time, hit those people first, or not first, but along with all of your other recruiting activities. That's one of them, right?
Absolutely. And over time, you're going to build a big database of people where you're just going to be tapping into that. And I'll give you an example. There's a company, cleaning company in Evans or Evansville, Georgia. And he's been with us, him and his wife, Brandy, Dean and Brandy have been with us for about 5 years.
Okay.
They've got thousands of names in their database now. So Dean calls us up and says, I lost 2 people. They're ghosting me. These are like 2 of his best employees. Something happened. They just together, partnered up, and said, "Let's do." Maybe maybe they're trying something on their own, starting a business. I don't know. So his wife is in charge of like the office. He's still out and doing estimates and doing some things. Um, so he calls us up all nervous about it, and we're like, you've got the database, right? You're still kind of and he's like, I don't know, let me talk to my wife. And she's like, yeah, I'm still interviewing people, even though we don't need to hire people. So like they were able, because of that database.
Yeah.
Think of that time. 72 hours later, they replaced those two people that left.
Wow.
72 hours
Wow.
later.
Yeah.
That's a
Especially
game
when
changer.
you're, yeah, that is a game changer. I agree. Okay. So that's the big news right now
Yeah.
is create that database, right?
Yep.
You can do all of this other stuff, but while you're doing it, begin building your database.
Yeah, and
Period.
I would say to not to do a lot of screening with that. I mean, just get the database as big as you can, because you would have never hired me when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
I was just I was a not I was in trouble having fun and spending a lot of money and all that. I was not somebody you'd probably want to employ. I
Mhm.
would hope you would now, maybe not, but I'm
Yeah.
not this. We're not the same people we were 5 years ago, 10
Right.
years ago, and so on, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Maybe you didn't have a driver's license today. You do. Maybe all those sort of things, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. But that database is a gold mine.
I
It's a
love that.
gold mine.
And that's not something you hear anybody talking about right now.
Yep.
Why aren't you? You've got all of these names. Why aren't you
Yeah.
collecting them?
What?
Although I think that most of the people that we get off of like Indeed, those places, we don't actually have their direct contact info most of the time, do we? A little
If
bit
you do, if they apply and they
on your
didn't get
website.
hired, if they apply, and if you do some resume searches, you'll have their information as long as they reply with their resume.
Oh yeah,
Part of the and again, this is we're able to do this because we do it on economies of scale. We're
of course.
yeah. So one of the things that with that database, even though you might pull up say 2,000 names, that doesn't mean you have their email address and their phone number yet, right?
Right.
But when I click a button, about 65 to 70%, I will then have their email address, personal, and their personal mobile phone numbers.
Oh wow, that's a
Yeah.
good chunk right there.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
here's something too, Liz, with an example. And you guys can do this on LinkedIn. And I know LinkedIn's a goof, and I would highly not recommend like advertising and paying for a job posting on there for a technician. But there's a lot of automated month-to-month things you can pay for a couple $100 a month that allows you to automatically send out connections on LinkedIn. And I do it for cleaning companies. I've done it for technicians. I've done it for all kinds of different things, and it automatically can happen. And I can, recommend a couple different companies. We use a company called eLeads, ELEADS.
E-leads.
Yep,
Okay.
and he actually owns a cleaning company too.
Okay.
So he understands our industry big time.
Yeah.
So
And so is it like eleads.com? Like,
I think it's .com or .net. Yeah.
let me go see if I can,
Okay.
since you're recommending them, I'm guessing
Right.
it's a good company. So let me see if I can get some eLeads CRM, it sounds like.
I think it's eleadspro.com.
Oh, okay. eLeads Pro. eleadspro.com. All right, let's see if we can get them a little bit of help here and help ourselves as well, right? Yep. There they are. Lead gen tool. And you're saying that these people fully manage, yeah, it says right on here, LinkedIn.
Yep.
And you're having good luck with them? That's what I heard, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. One of the things well, I'm saying that if you can't afford a $15,000 database, this would be a way to very inexpensively over time get you a nice large database that you can tap into. Now, so let me give you an exact example of a strategy you can use, and this has been successful for us.
Okay.
So you can go into LinkedIn and do this. You could probably buy a list if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. From a list company, US Info, if that's still around or whatever. And what we did was this. We went in and we found as many people as we could that were housekeepers
Okay.
at cheap motels in the area. So
Okay.
we said this, okay? You are probably working nights, weekends, maybe. You're short staffed, right? So you're working hard. You've only got about 8 minutes to clean a hotel room and get on to the next because there's somebody with with cameras all over you, with a clipboard, and they're all over your boss and manager. That's
Yeah.
not the case in our industry.
Right.
Now, I won't say what, but I'll let you guys have a nice imagination
Okay.
and imagine the things they see and maybe smell in a hotel room at a Motel 8 and a Red Roof Inn that you need to clean.
No.
Now, you can make more money not working nights, weekends, and holidays during the day
Yeah.
and go into homes that are owned by affluent people that you might not even be able to tell need clean, or you can continue doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And we tapped out to 2,000 housekeepers in a 25, 30-mile radius. And guess what? We hired a lot of people and executed on that really, really well.
That is such a great idea. So, Shawn, that is why I was so sad when I thought you weren't going to be able to make it today, because you always bring the gold. I mean,
Thank
nobody's
you.
talking about that. Nobody's even thinking about that. And we don't even know how to tap into those people, but go buy a lead list, right?
Yep, yep,
And
absolutely.
start. All right. So Whitney wants to know, Shawn, what kind of information should they be collecting for the database?
Just all you really need is the contact information because the database is like buying in the old days, a mailing list, right? We
Okay.
buy a mailing list and probably 30% of them at least are people we would not even consider to be our clients.
Right.
If we're doing everything the same as we're doing in marketing, in recruiting, it's the same thing.
So you,
So just contact information and a name is the all you need. But what you have to do then, because that's the only information you have, is you need to make sure that they still go through the same application screening process that everybody goes through. Keep that consistent.
okay.
So I again in marketing and sales, if I was to look at your websites out there, I guarantee it doesn't say if you're going to be a cheapskate, don't call us. If you're going to complain about one cobweb and the whole damn house is clean, don't call us, right? We don't screen and do those things. We,
No.
we want a big funnel at the top of that, right?
Right.
That's what our website's for. Same thing with this database and these leads. I don't care who it is, but you're only about 5% of you are going to make it through my application process.
Okay. But I mean, that makes sense. I feel like why not? Especially if it's automated.
Yep.
What do I care? Like
Yep.
bring them all in, get as many as possible, and
Now,
send them through that
Liz,
funnel.
how many of us out there actually keep a CRM of our job candidates? If you've been in business for 25 years, you think you'd need to use Indeed anymore? Because you'd have probably 100, you'd have tens of thousands at the
Yeah.
minimum names in
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
right?
Especially like in a city where I live, small little city,
Oh yeah,
everybody comes through here
yeah,
at some point in time.
yep.
If you haven't worked at a cleaning company at some point in your lifetime, in your job life, that you either worked at a cleaning company or you worked at fast food, one of the two.
Right,
And
right.
probably you worked at both,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So yeah, absolutely. Gosh, just seems so simple that never. No, I have no names on the list. None. All
Well,
right, that'll change. That's a great idea there.
you said this. You say this a lot, Liz. I know it may not have said it in a while, but it's great when these things happen to us that are difficult because it forces us to become better, more
Yeah,
creative, more innovative, and all those sort of things.
absolutely. I do say that all the time. You're
Yep.
right. It's a wonderful opportunity for us that we just didn't know was going to hit. All
Yep.
right,
Exactly.
we didn't know that we were going to get this opportunity. All right, so we got to collect this database. Begin collecting this. We can buy a leads list. We can go to eLeads Pro. That's a great place. Sounds
Yep.
like they are specific to LinkedIn.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Are there other places that we might go? Like it used to be you could buy leads lists or you could get them from the library. Is that still a
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah. You can do that. I mean, think about putting creating a Facebook group in your area just for job seekers and
Yeah.
how to get a job in this area. How to, I mean, and or go into other groups that are similar to that and talk
There's so
about
many of
helping
them.
and be, I mean, be, have a servant's heart though. Don't, we're trying to help people, and magically when you help people, good things begin to happen to you.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we're focused on right now is the candidate side of it. Not, we have clients, but my goal is that I want to educate and help people around the country, that are would be people interested in hourly wage jobs, blue
Okay.
collar type of work,
Yeah.
cleaning stuff for us.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to have them think, hey, if I want a job in blue collar stuff, I'm thinking of Blue Sky Services. Just like when we say name a fast food place, 80% of the people go McDonald's, right? That same thing. So you can do that in your area. Get in a group and talk about how you'd love to help with anybody, help their resume free. We're going to help you with your resume for free if you're an hourly wage type of blue collar person. That's what
Okay.
we do. And imagine how many people you might get some attention with. And don't make it, hey, I'm hiring, I own a cleaning company, I'm hiring, and I need this, and you need to look like this and sound like this. And not that. Just, I'm here to help. If you know anybody that's looking for a job, having trouble with their resume, we've got all kinds of free stuff we can help with.
So that all sounds fine and dandy, right? And it's like, yeah, that sounds like it's a great idea, but I'm not a recruiting company. I don't have time to help people with their resumes. Right? I can't do that.
Right.
And I might know what will work and what won't work. I can tell you all that because when people apply to come work for us, I can tell you right off the bat, this is why you're getting kicked out. So don't do this, right?
Right.
Don't do these
Right.
things. Don't come with your friend, right? Wear shoes.
Yep.
To
Well,
review.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
always good.
some basic stuff. Don't bring your kids, right? Show up on time. Yeah,
Yep.
I can. Well, maybe a simple thing that we could do would be to create a list like that, right?
Yeah.
Here's a list of things that we know from recruiting a lot of people. Here are things that will keep you from getting a job. Top 10 things to keep you
Yeah.
from
I
getting
like
a
that. I
That'd
like
be
that.
it. That'd be a list. We could probably even just brainstorming off this idea that you gave us. We could probably come up with a new list once a week, right? Top
Yep.
10 things to say in an interview. Top 10 things not to say in an interview. Top
Right.
10 things to do before you ever go to your first interview. I bet we could come up with a bunch of helpful things like that.
Now, here's something too, real quick, Liz. I know we haven't done this in a while, and I'm glad this is always good talking like this because you get these ideas
More
that come out
ideas.
again.
Yeah.
We used to have a saying, hey, it works so well, we stopped doing it. So you forget about these things that work
Yes.
because you're,
Yes.
you're trying to do other things. But I know, like, I've got thousands of friends on Facebook because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And I know I can download that. And a lot of them will have their phone number and email addresses. And I'm friends with so many people, I have no idea who they are. And they're friends of mine on Facebook. And that's a huge database right there. Think about
Yeah.
that. You
Can
can
you download? You can
you can
download.
you can YouTube how to download all of your friends from Facebook.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep. Yep. And not
Wow.
all of them, but some of them have their email address, some of them have their mobile phone number on there for a variety of different reasons.
Right.
And now you've got yourself a database.
Okay. I love that as a starting place.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people feel, and I know I'm one of these people too, it sounds so hard to start from scratch with
Right.
not even one name. It's like, ugh,
Yeah.
it sounds daunting. So Tom and I have a saying similar to your saying. We say we need to eat our own cooking.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we are really good at saying, hey, this works, this works, this works, this works. We know that. Are we doing that? Well, no, we're going to get around to it though, because we work with so many businesses that we see these things working, but it's easy to get caught up in and knowing what works and then not doing it. So at least some of the people that will be listening today as on a podcast, right, are going to be thinking, oh, this is a great idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. And then they're going to click to the next podcast and they're not going to make any changes at all.
You're right. I would say, the easiest thing to do is throw money at it. And I
Yeah.
know that's not the best thing to do all the time, but if you are somebody with the mindset that $300 of boosting and $400 or $500 of boosting on Indeed is expensive,
Yeah.
you've got the wrong mindset. If you need to hire, so for example, we do research in all kinds of different labor markets around the country,
Okay.
and we can find out a lot of different things. One of the things that we come up with based on our system and processes of way we research, and I can do a whole nother podcast on that. Um, we've got it down so that I can provide a budget for anybody in any part of the country based on the job title and your wages and how competitive you are. And I can say
Wow.
to you, and we've done this in Minneapolis, our company there in northern Cincinnati. Again, same company, Blue Sky Services, cleaning company, and same job position, same pay, same healthcare benefits, same everything. The only difference is geographic location,
Yeah.
different labor market. It cost us about $1,000 in boosting, just in boosting and sponsoring job ads in Minneapolis, not a month, to find one good employee. So
Wow.
when we need 5 employees there, and we need
Five
to get,
grand.
you're darn right. We spent $40,000 just in boosting and sponsoring at that one location. Now, we hired
Wow.
about 40 people.
Yeah.
A few of those were admin, and we had about 25 really really good employees from that. So some turnover and some things like that, obviously. With that said, the good news is we did $200,000 of revenue in the month of June. So that investment, but you've got to be willing to take that risk. No, but you do it not based on your feelings or what maybe or she did it over there in Washington, so it'll work for me in Florida.
Right.
No, no,
No.
you got to do your homework. And I spend a lot of time on my demos and when I Zoom with people just to talk shop with them. Do the research in your labor market and find out. And it can be as easy as this: get on Indeed as a job seeker, log in as a job seeker, and look for jobs in your area for house cleaning. And
Yeah.
just you can grab what people are paying, all kinds of different things for that. You can go
Yeah.
into something called Hiring Insights on Indeed. It
Mhm.
will tell you who's getting the most clicks in your area.
Oh,
A lot of times it's some franchises. A lot of times it might be ABC Cleaning Company.
yeah.
Why do they get more clicks? There's only really two reasons. They've either got a better job than you do,
Yeah.
okay, or they're spending more money on boosting job ads than you are. It's really the only two reasons.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
Yeah. That makes sense.
now, here's the
I'm,
good news.
I'm arguing in my mind. I'm like, oh, there's got to be more reasons. Oh,
That's really it on a high level. That's really all it is.
yeah.
Now, the good news is for everybody that's going, well, I'm never going to be able to afford to pay $1,000 for an employee.
Yeah.
First of all, if you're in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and that's what it is, that's reality. That's reality. Now,
Sorry.
the
Yeah.
good news is in Cincinnati area, it only cost us about $350 to find one good employee there. So,
Okay. Boy, yeah, that is a huge difference.
big time.
I do know a company that's in Minneapolis, and they struggle mightily with hiring as well.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's Minneapolis. Why is it so hard to hire there? Are there just not enough people that are of
Well,
this ilk, or
it's I think it depends on a couple things. I think like the cities, St. Paul, Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, are
yeah,
really goofy. But the other thing is that I find, and I am like super apolitical, neutral political guy. So it's not what my belief is. But when you tend to have states and cities that tend to be a lot more favorable to the employee side than the business side of things,
yeah,
they tend to have more goodies that they can get and stuff, which then that circle of candidates starts to get less and less and less.
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And plus,
Yeah,
it's like everything else, it's supply and demand. That's
of
all
course.
it is, right?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
What's driving that? Right? There's
yeah,
something. All right. So yeah, it's the environment. Well, we're a little bit lucky in Washington State. While our entire state is extremely employee friendly, we're lucky that it's the whole state because the
yeah,
whole state is this way, and people have to work. So
Yeah.
they're going to, there's always still that group of people that is going to want to clean houses.
Yep.
All right. I had something else on here that I wanted to ask about. Um, oh, you said hiring insights, Shawn.
Yeah.
So on the hiring insights, does this cost anything? Is this?
At one time it was free, and they've changed so much with Indeed, and
Oh yeah,
I unfortunately I don't know. I
that's okay.
I
I'm just curious.
apologize about that. I
Oh
don't
no, no worries.
I'm
I was
not that
just
close to
curious.
it anymore, but it's definitely worth maybe calling
Yeah.
your rep up and say, hey, I'd like to try hiring insights for free for 30 days if you don't mind.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
they will.
yeah, yeah. Who knows? It could be free. Go check it out for
It might
sure.
be, yeah.
I really have enjoyed the new thing, or I guess it's not that new, the thing where you can go in and search for people that match your job description and you can
Yeah.
invite them to apply for your job. That has really been awesome.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like about that is it gets traction on your ad, I think,
Yeah.
right? So
It
people
does.
start applying. Even if you don't hire any of those people, your ad is popping up more and more. People see that motion,
Yeah.
and Indeed gives you a little bit more of a boost if they see that your ad is getting a little bit of traction.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. There's
um,
one other thing too that came to mind too because we're talking about Indeed, and
yeah,
I think they're the resume searching that they offer, and I
yeah,
don't know how much they charge per resume or whatever anymore, but a lot of times a strategy that we used to think about, and a lot of other business owners was okay. We on Indeed you can tell if they've updated their resume literally yesterday, a week
mhm,
ago, or like 6 months ago or whatever.
yeah,
We used to have the mindset where okay, we want to find out like a week ago or yesterday because that must mean they're going to be looking for a job.
yeah,
Well, we've also looked into 24 months ago, 12 months ago, because they may not be looking for a job, and that's great because
right,
that's called a passive candidate. If
yes,
97% of us are employed, because it's around
yeah,
3.5% unemployment, some like Minneapolis might be 2%, or Salt Lake City or some other places are under 3% maybe, that is who you actually need to tap into is that person
mhm,
that's maybe not looking for a job because I've seen a few different surveys and studies over the last few years that go something like this. They survey people that are employed and not actively looking for work.
yep,
When tapped on the shoulder and shown another opportunity, would you
yeah.
consider it? Over 80% said absolutely I'd consider another job if it came to me.
Yeah, we all know that. You
Yeah,
don't even have to do any kind of research to know
right.
that that's the majority of the people out there.
Yeah.
They're, I don't want to say lazy and I don't want to say apathetic, but kind of a combination of lapathetic,
Yeah, yeah,
was pathetic or something, right?
yep,
Where
absolutely.
it's just we all do that. We just keep going down the easy road. Similar to what we were saying earlier, you giving us a ton of great ideas here today.
Thank you.
And while things are easy to do, they're easier to not do.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
So a lot of times we'll hear all of this great stuff. We'll get all of these great ideas. We're like, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going
right,
to do that. But until then, you know what I'm going to do? Same thing I've been doing.
yep,
And I'm just going to fall right back into that rut again, right
yep,
back into
yep,
that pattern of what I've continued to do.
yep,
Actually, this is the number one reason why the strategic success circles that I run are there,
yeah.
because people just fall down and just keep doing the same old thing over and over again. And
That's so
gotta get
true.
going.
I call there's a couple of things with that. One is I call that creative avoidance. Right?
Nice.
We're coming up with ways that we feel like we're staying busy,
Yeah,
and subconsciously, probably, and maybe even consciously, probably, we know we should be doing something different.
we
And
do.
it kind of couples with when my son says, "Dad, what's the difference between what's one difference between successful people and unsuccessful people?" And
Mhm.
I always relate it to business, um, because I think the answer is, and I'm not the one that came up with this, but successful people do the things that unsuccessful people do not do.
Yeah.
One of the differences, though, is that the reason the unsuccessful people do not do it is because they don't like it. It's not comfortable. They don't want to do it.
Want to.
You know what? That's the same damn thing with successful people. The difference is they
Yeah.
do it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the way I have talked about this is that successful people do the things that non-successful people won't. Not that they don't,
Period.
it's that they
Yep.
won't. They
Yep.
just won't do it. They don't want to do it. They have zero desire to do it. Successful people, they don't want to do it either.
Right.
But they
That's
do
the
it anyway.
difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that nobody wants to do, right?
Right.
Successful people do the things that nobody else wants to do. All right,
Yep. Yep.
they go
Yep.
and do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do have to also say though, this is based on my own experience. Also, you can be unsuccessful sometimes doing the things that other people don't want to do because really they just shouldn't be done.
Right. Right.
They're
Right.
just not smart. And yeah, I shouldn't have done that either. Right? I wish I could just
Right.
say that I have only done smart things, but no.
Right.
Many
Right.
times I've done things that, hey, nobody else wants to do this. I'm going to do it. You know why, Liz? Because it wasn't smart. It was just not a
Yep,
good
yep.
thing to do.
But you know what though? That is still something that will benefit you if you right.
Absolutely.
I always say the only way you can build character or build your character or better character is when bad things happen.
Yeah.
How else can you build better character and build character? When good things happen, that's easy. It's when
Yeah.
bad things happen. That's when you show who you are and you build upon your character. If bad things do not happen to you, you're not gonna
You
grow.
just float.
Yeah,
You just float. Some
yeah,
people do. Some people actively go out there and they
yeah,
claw and they strive and they reach for
yeah.
building themselves up. But that's not the majority of us.
So so
Yeah.
here's something, and this is a whole different show, but it's and I because I think it's Amy, right? Amy, we were emailing back and forth, and I'm like, can we do some leadership stuff or recruiting stuff? That's what I do. And so I'm 55 now, and I'm at a point in my life where I'm very big on acceptance. Okay,
Yeah.
and so and basically I find myself to be happiest and most peaceful
Yeah.
when I accept the world as it is
It is.
and the people in that world as they are, not how Shawn thinks it should be.
Right.
Right now,
Absolutely.
that makes me sound very passive, though. Right? It kind of makes me sound passive. It doesn't, and I also believe that I don't necessarily need to be hyperactive and do. I just need to treat people really good and serve people. Stop thinking of Shawn Day and think of everybody else around me and serve them, and that's enough sometimes to just have really cool magical things happen. There's a lot more into that, but where I'm at right now, that's kind of where I'm at with things right now, and all kinds of good things happen when I stop thinking of myself. And I mean, because when I do, I get in trouble. I get worried, right? Right?
Yes.
It's me. What do I think about? How great I am? I think about my problems. I think about what ifs. Why
Mhm.
didn't I do that? I think of the past, the future. When you can start to I talk about this when I do recruiting, and I'll do this Saturday. I'm presenting here. It's an hour presentation. The first 20 minutes is about great leaders manage perceptions,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
And I could go on about that forever, and that's really what
Nice.
I'm talking about. It's serving other people, and when I do that, I understand them better. I hear them better. I can now hear their
Yeah.
story. So I know what they're experiencing.
Yeah.
Now, how does that play into recruiting or interviewing? It's changed everything for us.
Everything. Right.
Everything for us.
That servant mentality it plays into everything. You become
Yep.
an attractant in that way. Okay, we cannot go down this path right now because
Right.
both of us feel a little bit passionate about this topic, and we'll be on here for a whole nother hour. And we're already out of time, Shawn. All right. Well,
Okay.
I know that we've had already a few people on here that are saying, yay, great stuff. Marlo, thanks for the love. Whitney, Donna, thank you. Appreciate that
Come
love,
on.
y'all. And Shawn, thanks so much. I'm so glad that you came in and bailed our poor audience out of
I'm
having to
so
listen
sorry I
to
was late.
us.
I don't like being late.
Oh,
I'm sorry about that.
we totally understand that. Things happen. I'm just glad that you were able to find third floor, the right room, and get to us and bring us the gold. All right, for everybody that's on here, everybody that's listening in podcast form, don't just go away from this information and think, what some of these great ideas. What are you going to do? Take action, y'all. Do something. Shawn, let me just real quick. I know I'm supposed to get out of here. Tom hates when every time I'm on, I always go too long, but I'm going to put, it's yourblueskies.com. Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
All right. Let me just post this for everyone. And if y'all want some more information, thanks, y'all. If y'all want some more information from Shawn, you want to get some more of this gold, here you go. I just posted a link to his company, and you don't have to do it all yourself. Oh my goodness. What perfect timing is that to lose Shawn? All right, y'all. That's it. And we will talk to y'all later. Bye.